Commander ZYX watched through the reinforced viewport as the human specimen sat motionless in the containment chamber. The creature's calm demeanor was unsettling. For 3 cycles now, the research team aboard the Nexus Prime had studied this particular example of Homo sapiens, and every test had yielded results that defied their xenobiological models. "Initiate Protocol 7, ZYX commanded, his mandibles clicking with nervous energy. Dr. Velrin hesitated at her console. "Commander, the fear-inducer compound has proven lethal to 97% of carbon-based life forms we've tested. The concentration we're about to deploy could. The humans survived atmospheric depressurization, electromagnetic pulse exposure, and gravitational stress that would liquefy a Kethran," ZYX interrupted. "Proceed with the test." Inside the chamber, Captain Marcus Chin of the Earth Defense Corps remained seated cross-legged on the metal floor, appearing almost meditative. The neural monitoring equipment showed his brain activity in stable patterns, no fear, no stress, just the steady rhythm of someone waiting patiently. Dr. Velrin activated the release mechanism. Invisible vents opened in the chamber walls, flooding the space with a gaseous compound the consortium had perfected over centuries of warfare. The fear inducer worked by triggering the deepest evolutionary terrors embedded in neural pathways, the scent of predators, the chemical signature of death, the molecular essence of everything that whispered run to a thinking mind. The gas swirled through the chamber, a barely visible haze that carried the concentrated nightmares of a dozen worlds. Species that had never known fear had collapsed into catatonic terror when exposed to even trace amounts. The compound was so effective that consortium soldiers required cybernetic emotional dampeners just to handle it safely. Chun lifted his head slightly as the gas reached him. His nostrils flared as he took a deep breath. Then another. The monitoring equipment registered a spike in activity, but not in the amygdala or other fear centers. Instead, the human's brain showed activation in regions associated with memory and comfort. Chen's eyes opened, and for the first time since his capture, he smiled. "Smells like home," he said, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's audio pickups. The research team exchanged bewildered glances. Velrin checked her instruments twice, then 3 times. The readings were correct. The human stress hormones hadn't elevated. They had actually decreased. "Impossible," muttered Dr. Kithval from his station. "The compound contains concentrated pheromones from the apex predators of 17 different worlds. How can it be triggering positive responses?" Chun inhaled deeply again, and his posture relaxed further. "You know what this reminds me of?" he said, apparently addressing his captors. "Saturday mornings when I was 8 years old. My dad would be cooking breakfast, bacon, eggs, coffee brewing. The neighbor was always burning leaves in his yard. My mom would be cleaning with that industrial disinfectant she loved." He chuckled softly. "And our dog had rolled in something dead again." ZYX's 4 eyes widened in comprehension. "Cessation of experiment," he barked. "Purge the chamber immediately." "Sir." Velrin's tentacles hovered uncertainly over her controls. "The compound isn't malfunctioning," ZYX said, his voice carrying a new note of respect mixed with horror. "Look at the chemical analysis. Cross-reference it with the atmospheric composition of the human homeworld." As the ventilation systems cleared the chamber, Velrin ran the comparison. Her bioluminescent patches flashed in shock as the results appeared. The fear-inducer compound, it's chemically similar to standard atmospheric pollutants found in human population centers. Carbon monoxide, sulfur compounds, various organic decay products. Dr. Kithval's voice was barely a whisper. "They evolved breathing poison." Chin stretched in his chair, looking more relaxed than he had since his arrival. "Not poison," he corrected, somehow having heard their conversation. "Just life. You know what fear smells like to a human? Nothing. Clean air. Sterile environments. The absence of everything that tells us we're alive." He stood and walked to the chamber's viewing panel, pressing his palm against the transparent aluminum. "Your gas isn't concentrated terror. It's concentrated existence. Every molecule tells a story: predators that we learn to hunt, decay that feeds new growth, smoke that means warmth and food and family gatherings." ZYX found himself taking an involuntary step backward. The human's eyes held no aggression, but there was something in them that spoke to genetic memories older than civilization. "You want to know what scares humans?" Shin continued. The void between stars. Perfect silence. Absolute zero. The absence of chaos. He smiled again, and this time it was predatory. You've been using the wrong weapon, Commander. You've been trying to frighten us with life. Dr. Velren's instruments detected elevated stress levels throughout the research team. The irony wasn't lost on any of them. The humans' calm presence in their sterile ship was having exactly the effect their fear gas was supposed to have. Perhaps, Zyx said slowly, we should reconsider our approach to first contact protocols. Chen nodded approvingly. That might be wise. Because if this is how you treat guests, I'd hate to see what happens when we stop being polite. Outside the ship, invisible to its occupants, 3 Earth Defense Corps dreadnoughts moved into position. Captain Chen's capture had never been accidental. It had been reconnaissance. And now, thanks to their host's inadvertent cooperation, he knew exactly what made them afraid.